Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Sprawl here on Roll20 Presents. This is episode number 5, mission number 3, part 1. And the Sprawl is a cyberpunk game.
Yep.
Really?
Cyberpunk. Hey, Dave, is the Nintendo Switch cyberpunk?
I don't know. I don't have one.
Andrew, is a McDonald's Big Mac cyberpunk?
Yes.
Elf, is Lady Gaga cyberpunk?
Holy shit! Yeah.
Wait. Can I redo mine? I feel like we were doing a thing and I wasn't prepared for it.
Yes. Dave, is the Nintendo Switch cyberpunk?
No.
Blue Jay, is Twitch.tv cyberpunk?
Definitely not.
What?
No.
No, it's not.
This is gonna be a
very
thing now. I'm gonna ask everybody, is this cyberpunk?
I asked a question on our Slack.
Mhm.
That was, if I stole my roommate's Nintendo Wii, is that cyberpunk?
Only if you put on mirrored sunglasses and you stole it by rappelling outside the building and
Where are
turning
my
the window.
sunglasses? Okay, all right.
See,
all
you're
right,
already
so,
like partway.
So, all right, so we're halfway there.
All right.
I just need to get like a
Get the
repelling.
repelling.
Yeah, this is totally the new pre-show. Is this cyberpunk? So I feel like I would tend to agree with most of these answers. Aside from maybe Blue Jay's answer, I think Twitch is pretty cyberpunk.
Twitch is so establishment, please.
Yes, but the fact that it creates the kinds of people like you.
You
for
asked me if
example.
Twitch. You asked me if
Yes,
Twitch,
no, I'm aware.
not
I
me.
understand. But
She's permitted her opinion.
yes, of course. Yeah. I'm offering up for debate. I think that Twitch.tv is not in and of itself a cyberpunk organization. But
And
I
you
think
should
that
be
it
more
creates.
specific.
I think that that's the point, right? I think that it creates cyberpunk protagonists. I think that you're pretty cyberpunk as a result of what you do on Twitch.
I mean, she's no streaming chan, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Streaming
yet.
what?
I mean,
right?
yet there's
Yet.
the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have room
If
for
I could,
growth and change.
if I could broadcast myself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I would do it.
I was looking at those. Have y'all seen those? Have y'all seen those Snapchat glasses? You seen those?
No.
No.
So Snapchat has these glasses. They're called like Snap goggles or Snap shades or something, and they're like vaguely unstylish looking sunglasses that have a little camera on the little end here, and you press a button and it takes a picture of whatever you're looking at and it posts it to your Snapchat story. And they're not I mean I guess it's Bluetooth through your phone, so you can't like, it's like an Apple Watch or whatever, you can't just like wear the glasses on their own. But like I think it's weird because Google and them tried so hard to make wearable like glasses cameras a thing, and I think Snapchat's going to do it. I think Snapchat will be the thing that makes people do that.
Because Google Glasses, like everyone forgot it was a thing after about a day because they
Sure.
cost infinity money and like gave 8 people them who then didn't use them.
Yeah. I always find
Good job, Google.
I always find that, and I think the other thing too is like, yeah, it was a very there was no entry level thing, whereas Snapchat, like everybody's about that. And Google Glass had no real purpose for your average person, like nerds, like huge nerds, like the people that made them. Great, perfect. If you want to be a gargoyle, it's all over it. But yeah, you kind of got to go for that like customer base, right? Of having people who will actually use it.
well, and having the utility of it be there, right? Be enough to justify wearing some stupid fucking glasses.
You just said,
Yeah.
do you want to be a gargoyle? And
I mean,
my
speaking of
entire
utility-
brain went for the Gargoyles theme song. From,
Oh yeah, sorry, no, that was a Snow Crash reference, not a Goliath.
no,
from
it went
Disney's Gargoyles.
entirely. I was like, "Dun."
I think we covered this before, but let's get your opinion, Alf. Is Disney's Gargoyles cyberpunk?
if you're focusing specifically on Xanatos, maybe.
I mean, just generally, like the whole show is a canon.
yes, I would say.
I
would
feel
say
like
it is.
I feel like I
Let's say
probably agree. Yeah, I
Let's say it is.
think.
I think it's very much in the Shadowrun
Oh yeah,
column.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It can pass.
Exactly.
yeah. Well, because didn't they have like cyber gargoyles? Like literally, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
a
they did.
Mecha Goliath and like,
Mecha
yeah.
Goliath was a thing. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's pretty cyberpunk. But you're right, Andrew. I think that it's very Shadowrun.
There's all kinds of like magic and mysticism.
Yeah.
Right, because the whole last season isn't it about like King Arthur and shit?
Yes.
And like, don't they go to?
They go deep into all the like European medieval folklore shit with like.
Yeah, because Brent Spiner plays he plays Puck.
Yeah.
That's right.
Having most of the cast of TNG on as voice actors was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That made that show for me as a kid because
Yeah.
I love TNG, and then I watched the show. I was like, I know these voices.
That's right. And yeah, I remember as a kid it being so weird that you could hear Brent Spiner emoting.
Yeah,
He would like laugh and be
Brent
angry.
Smider doesn't have emotions. What are you talking about?
Right. But apparently. But
Blue Jay, #1 Spiner femme.
What? No.
I've never heard that term before, but I like it. I like it.
They are a community of people, the Spiner femmes.
So just like femmes who are really into Brent Spiner.
Yeah, it's like a Trekkie
Oh
subcategory.
my god, that's so good. Oh.
It's in the documentary Trekkers or whatever, Trekkies, you know, the one.
Yeah. I think there were two. I think Trekkies was the first one and Trekkers was the second one.
Yeah, right. That's what it was.
Yeah. Star Trek. Is Star Trek cyberpunk?
Absolutely not.
Not
No.
even a fucking
Not
tiny
even
little
a little.
bit.
No.
It's so.
I mean,
far from
it's
that.
literally like the military arm of a like federation of planets, right? That's not cyberpunk. It's like saying a cop is cyberpunk. It's not.
It's true.
That's like saying Deus Ex is cyberpunk.
I know, right? Divisive opinion, but I'm with you. I don't think that it is.
I think it's cyber. It's cyber as
Yeah.
fuck.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then Ghost in the Shell is cyberpunk, but only because of the antagonists.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and that, I always think that when I was watching it, I'm like, this is us. This is us getting killed right now. Just getting
Yeah.
fucking destroyed by police forces. That's our life.
I do.
Like at some point, Major Kusanagi is going to fight QQ and show us how chicken shit QQ is, you know, by comparison.
Yeah. God, I love when that happens when you're watching a show or whatever. This happened. I think we've talked about this. This happened for me watching Die Hard, where it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it. Die Hard is backwards. It's a Shadowrun game backwards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I love when that stuff happens. Recontextualize.
Like, this is the
Yeah.
DMPC just fucking killing all of us.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Who wants to be in charge of next week's? Is this cyberpunk? Someone needs to come up with some,
I
some
got
things. To, okay.
All right.
All right.
Andrew.
All right, Andrew. You're
I'll
in
write
charge.
it down in my notes. It's
Okay.
homework.
All right. Next week, you can ask us: is this cyberpunk?
Not next week, but the after week.
Yeah.
Yes, not next week.
The next week.
Because you're going to PAX, and PAX is definitely not cyberpunk.
PAX is not cyberpunk. That's true. It's not. It's not. The best thing about this conversation is that people are going to want us to define rules for what cyberpunk is, but that's not the point. The point is just to answer the
I'm gonna say
question.
no.
But also, is PAX really not cyberpunk? Because it is
Yeah.
disrupting a broadcast of a thing that we have established as a schedule for a week. So, I mean, you could argue that it is cyberpunk indeed.
It's a little cyber.
No.
There's a lot of VR there.
Yeah, there
I
you
don't
go.
know how punk it is.
That's gonna
though.
be my entire house. I've decided that I'm not gonna buy furniture. I'm just gonna get a Vive.
Yeah.
And
VR
then-
your house.
Yeah.
That was Dave. That was in an anime. What anime was that in? When you
What?
the thing where like people didn't have their house was like a box, but they like skinned it with like.
Psychopaths.
Thank you. Is Psychopath
yeah.
is Psychopath cyberpunk?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even though it's about cops.
It's about cops
absolutely.
again. What is up with all these fucking cyberpunk things about cops? Why? Like
Because
Well, this.
police
Yeah.
procedurals are a convenient way to shoehorn any genre into whatever show you want to make, right? Like it's a familiar element.
Well, it's. I mean, specifically for this one, it makes most sense for the cops because they're the only people who actually have any insight into anything that's happening within society. Because everybody else is cyberpunked to the extent that they would not be able
right.
to have a commentary on it.
I want in like, you know, when the singularity hits, I want us to reclone Ashton Kutcher and have cyberpunked. I want that. I want that as a thing.
I wasn't with you for
You're
half a
alone.
second, and then I figured it out.
You wanting that is what's going to prevent the singularity from happening.
No.
Adam,
I read a novel not that long ago. It was Cory Doctorow and the guy that wrote Red Shirts. I can't remember the name of the author, but it was a book called Rapture of the Nerds, and it was about post singularity, but everyone who was like left behind, everyone who was still on Earth, who was like, no, I'm not gonna upload my brain. I'm just gonna hang out on this crappy Earth and be crappy. And it was amazing. It was really good. Like the dude's parents were like uploaded, and they like kept coming to visit him, but they were like cyber consciousness, and they were like, you should really upload. He's like, nah, it's cool. I'm gonna just hang out on Earth. It's John Scalzi, that's his name. It's a good book. It was weird. I've never seen anything approach the concept of like the singularity like that before.
So
I was imagining
Adam,
the concept.
Yes.
is IKEA cyberpunk?
No, IKEA is not very cyberpunk.
It's not cyberpunk.
It could be. I think that there are elements of it. It's dystopian. It's dystopian in a way that I think would fit into a cyberpunk world. But
IKEA would be cyberpunk if there were not any employees.
Yeah.
yeah. If drones operated IKEA completely, then it would be.
If it was
Once-
like
Imagine if you got an IKEA drone sent to your house.
Yeah, once Amazon
and it
once Amazon buys
opens
IKEA.
itself and opens it and builds it like around you.
Oh,
No,
sick.
the drone is the furniture. It
shit.
assembles itself and then powers off, or doesn't. It just serves you.
Oh
as-
And
my
if you
god,
don't keep
or
up the
does it
repayments
power
on it, it
off?
just
It's
keeps
just watching you.
all of your IKEA drones that turn into beds and desks and shit continue to collect information about you and send them back.
I'm kind of
there's
about that
semi-sentient
actually.
AI furniture.
Right, it's AI furniture, exactly, and it knows, like, it's like, you're not sleeping very well. Maybe you could use a new comforter. Let me drone you a comforter. I'm gonna
And how
just,
could you have a flying comforter?
well, it would be like a nano replicator that turns into a comforter, or it would be like a little helicopter drone that drops off a pill that turns into one.
Yeah. I'd actually be about that. Like going back to the Snapchat thing. Like I'm all about that as soon as it like starts subsidizing purchases. It's like, yeah, you can watch me sleep on your bed if I don't have to pay as much for it. I just don't care.
Well, that's the whole idea of
Very interesting.
of paying for material goods or services more often with non-monetary things like your time, right? Like we've talked about this before, where you like watch game, you want to play a game. The game has an in-game currency. You want to earn that currency, but you don't want to pay for it, so it makes you watch 10 minutes of ads, and then here's 100, Google dollars that you can spend in your game. That's
It's
totally
like
a thing.
bits.
Yeah, well, we pay for Facebook with our private information, right? It's free, but it's not really free. Marketing.
Alrighty then. Now that we've talked enough about what is cyberpunk,
I was gonna say the whole first hour of the show will
Should
just slowly
we-
become what is cyberpunk.
should we cyberpunk maybe?
Yeah. We definitely could. We could do that. We could play a game. We could play a
Theoretically,
role-playing
we
game about
could.
these things.
Yeah.
Well, and really, isn't that what science fiction is about? Is positing what things could be
Theoretically,
like
we
and then
could, yeah.
exploring them. Let's do it. So the situation where we stand is we finished that other mission. You took some downtime, and now you have things you can do in between. Now the game doesn't support this, but I know we were talking about this a little bit between the sessions, that you wanted to talk about maybe doing some stuff.
Yes, some like social stuff between characters, I think. But might I also roll my my hustle, because that's in between.
Let's do that right before the mission starts. Yeah. So we're in this nebulous kind of awkward non-game phase where technically, according to the text of the game, and I'm all about the text. Technically, according to the text, we should just jump into the next get a job phase, right? It should be the game now. But there's some character stuff that y'all wanted to explore, and I don't really know how to pace this. I don't know really how to be like, because we could just be like, well, fuck the structure of the game. Let's just faff around and do
I love faff.
RP stuff. But
I mean,
the game
maybe
is not
we-
designed for that. So I
maybe
don't know. Let's
we-
talk about it.
Maybe we talk about like something like a downtime action.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to create a structure for that goes into the game. Like we could, like I said, we could just. I was thinking about this before we started. Where I was like, I could just sit back and be like, I don't know, RP some stuff,
I mean, if there are
make
things
moves. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah, why? Well, none of the moves make sense for when
if
you're
if
passing.
if there are things we want to engage in between the characters or things you want to explore like socially between our group, then I feel like it makes sense. Sure, to just be like, all right, well, let's do that. But if not, then we can progress as such. I don't know.
yeah. Well, and this is the eternal question of many role playing games where if the players, which is to say all of us, not just y'all, um, but the players of the game desire a thing and the game does not support the desire of the thing, then there's a conflict, right? Um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could everybody could just be like, this is what my character does between missions, and then we could move on, so everybody has a chance to do that. Or I
I don't know,
don't know.
maybe just like a one off, like what is each person doing between the time where we get a mission for
Yeah,
the
I
whole
think
team
it's.
to work together.
I think that. I mean, personally, like I like my character and I have ideas for what she does in the
Yeah.
meantime. And even if it's just like at the beginning of the thing, like, hey, like what have you been up to in the past, like, I don't know, week or however long it's been, like just in the meantime, like sometimes it'll just be like a sentence like I've been doing this, and sometimes it'll be like, hey, I want to have this conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
If I do that, can I have advantage?
only if you show us one of your bonds or whatever the other things are in the game.
Ideals.
Ugh,
Yeah, you have to work in
ugh.
every
What are your
every
flip
sentence
plans
every
or
sentence that
bras?
you speak in character should be trying to get you advantage.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean I'm into it. I'm gonna go. I'll come back in like 45 minutes when y'all are done. You don't need me for this part.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Sounds good.
well, I mean, in that, well, just to go back to stuff we've said before, isn't this just like the fanfic phase?
Yes, this is the fanfic phase.
Right. Generally, fan fiction doesn't occur on camera. Well,
Yeah.
and again, like this is
Homework
this
for
is
next
the
time.
this is the trick, right? Like, you know, because the game doesn't care about your fan fiction. Game doesn't give a fuck. Game wants you to do missions.
I mean, if the game doesn't care, then I guess we move forward.
But we're allowed to care. We're allowed to care about it.
I
It just
care.
means, yeah, it just means
first.
that we
It just
need
means
to
we're
we
in
need
it.
to acknowledge, yeah, we're deviating here. Because the mechanics now we've torn off
We're outside the world of rules.
yeah, we tore the label off the mattress even though it said not to.
Oh shit.
We opened that thing that says do not open.
In order to make, like, we could hack the game to make it matter.
Yes,
And make it part
but
of the
that is a lot of work.
That's a lot.
Complicated procedure.
So yeah, the easy thing would be because again, like you were pointing out, Andrew, the idea of a between missions thing, the moves, the game will no longer help us. The game, like the moves are not built for this stuff. The consequences have nowhere to go, right? Like
Yeah.
you're in a state where even things like if you said to me, okay, during my in between session stuff, I go and I find you know, this gangster and I shoot him in the face. I'm like, okay, he shoots you back, you take some harm, but
No, but I turned on my force field first.
healing
I have
only
antidotes.
occurs, and we can follow the moves when they apply. But like for example, healing only occurs either when you make the move or between missions, but you're already in between missions.
So I should just heal all the time.
Yeah, so it's
I have touched. I heal back to full.
right. We're in a weird place again. We've stepped outside the rules, and so our options are to ignore them completely and just use this as a narrative thing. In which case, you know, go ahead and just say what you do, but you know, then it's not a game. We're not playing a game anymore, at least for this portion. Or we make up our own thing, but I don't think we're ready for that yet.
I don't want to do that on the fly. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What do your characters do in between?
I have many
missions?
ideas.
Do you want to start?
Blue
then?
Jay, start us off.
Okay. So Kathy is a bit upset. She got shot many times and it hurt pretty bad. So I feel like in between missions, Kathy is kind of brooding a bit. She's probably at
Like
this
in
point
a
wherever.
hospital, or
No,
because if you get shot, generally you can't just go home and sleep it off.
no. I have a thing for
Okay,
that
all right.
too in my brain. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know how this works. I don't have rules for the game anymore. Am
I
I
thought you
allowed
said you
to?
were
Am
gonna
I allowed
leave.
to ask questions?
No, yeah, you can totally ask questions. I feel like this is almost like maybe then this is like directly afterward, like we come off of the mission and I'm still just like gauzed up a bit and like worn out. Kathy is, and we come back to gather up some. Maybe we're gathering up Flamingo's drones and like getting them back to the thing, and Kathy is just like hasn't gone to that doctor that you met, Flamingo, yet.
Harsh.
And
Karsh,
yeah,
the doctor I
Karsh,
haven't paid.
because that's the doctor that we know, right? But she's just like, you can tell that she's very, very like not in a good space, and she's like looking at one of your drones and like kind of like taking it apart like a little bit, like one of the ones that's not working.
Oh.
And like, yeah, I'm giving you a moment to like come and talk to her, I guess. Like she's sitting here, like just like taking apart one of your drones, like probably not in
I was
a
gonna say she's doing
productive way.
She's doing that thing where she's just like trying really hard to give off "I need somebody to talk to me" signals.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
So you're just disassembling old Freyr military technology? All right.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, so I of course I notice when you're fiddling with things that I own, that you're doing so. And I come over, and sort of stand there looking at you sitting on the floor all morose, and go, what?
And Kathy does that thing where she's like, I know you're here, but I'm not gonna look at you. And she's still like playing like with the tools in her hand, and like she takes a hot minute. And then she looks up at you and she says, like, you tried to tell me this, didn't you? You tried to tell me that we didn't.
You mean when we were sitting in that cafe?
Yeah.
And you seemed to think that this was all a fun game we were going to play together and not violent and criminal?
And she's like, she's young. She's very young. So she's like tucking her chin under, and like her eyes are welling up a little bit. And she's just like, I don't know if I can do this, but I don't have anything else that I can do. Like, is it always like this?
Flamingo, it's just like way harder than you are. Like,
Yeah.
She's been doing this for longer. She knows how this goes. And when she wasn't doing this, she was like a military employee, basically. So, I mean, it's just as much potential for violence. And she says, you just need to find something that you will be able to contribute from a safer distance. If you're not looking to get injured, or maybe invest in some clothing that it won't rip straight through. Just because QQ is around does not mean that violence isn't going to come the rest of our ways as well.
I look pointedly at your arm.
Yeah, she says, sort of like looking down at her own lack of arm. Just continues, if you're not up to the task, then you can rot away in your corporate apartment until they're done with you and hope for the best. But this is your best option. I promise you that. For surviving in any meaningful way. Just like harsh realness. It's just...
Kathy's never gotten that. So she's like sitting there like, you were supposed to tell me everything was going to be okay. And she like looks back down at the drone, and I took an advance last time that allows me to have extra cyberware.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like she looks back down at the drone and she like fingers, like she pulls at like some of the like armor like on it. And like she like also like touches her like where she was hurt and like winces a little bit. And she's like, I feel like there's a moment where she's like, get better at not getting shot, or, and she looks over at QQ and she looks at the thing and she was like, you said that there was a doctor.
Yes, I happen to have met a helpful gentleman by the name of Karsh. I'm sure if you're thinking about cyberware, you know, I say like pointedly looking at exactly what you've been doing, then he'll be able to help you out.
And she like swallows hard and like you can tell like she's like thinking about stuff, but I think that is the like
Yeah, that's the extent.
kick in the ass that she needed.
Cool.
So, yeah. I'm gonna get what's it called? The cyberware. Dermal plating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when I get shot, it won't hurt as bad.
Yeah, you still take the harm. It's just less likely to slow you down.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And it's like I feel like it's when it's happening, she's like pretty much like she's asking, like she's shopping for it, and she's like, "Can we get one that like is like shimmery? Because like you can see the like plates underneath the skin a little bit." And so like I bet she asks for one that's like pink or something, like with like sparkles in it. I don't know. So that when like you can like see it under her skin, it's not just like black
She's
and
like-
like hardware. It's
she's
cool.
She's just like, I need armored dermal plates for my skin, but they gotta be Disney.
Oh my god, I can just imagine like that Disney makes like armor plating, like dermal armor for children.
no.
Oh no!
Like,
Yeah, totally.
you know that they do. Like, keep your family
Aw.
safe.
Oh
With-
man.
Implant dermal plating under
Yeah.
their skin.
A growing, because you gotta like replace them every year because your kids are growing. They're growing fast, right? Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, little Timmy, happy birthday! Time to go to the hospital and get your dermal armor upgraded in case of drive-bys. Dag.
Well, because if you're rich enough to afford that shit, then you're
Holy
rich enough to
shit!
target.
Yeah, you paid a lot for that kid. They're genetically perfect in every way. So
Yeah. So you want to protect your
Oh
investment.
my god!
Well, yeah. Oh my god, that would be the slogan: protect your investment. That's like, oh my god, that's the name of the pamphlet that they give you at the cyber clinic while you're waiting for your kid to get put under.
Oh
You bottle those fancy organs for your kids. Protect your investment.
no!
Because like it's not like all of your skin is armored. It's just like you have this like jacketed like torso, right?
Yeah.
To keep all the
Yeah,
important bits safe.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, can you imagine? Oh, now I'm just imagining like, yeah, like just the X-rays of a kid with like, yeah, like skeletal like armor plating around their rib cage. Wow. Awesome.
That's cool.
That's cyberpunk for sure.
Yeah, that's fucking cyberpunk as hell.
Cool. So you get some cool
Yep. Protect the important bits.
teenage dermal armor. So what is
Hot
that?
topic, dermal plating.
It means when I make the harm move, I subtract 2 from my roll, 3 if it was with a weapon with a plus flechette tag.
Right. Yeah. Because flechettes are for chopping up skin and muscle, and you have armor underneath your skin. Does it layer with the armor you already have?
The armor I have is in my clothing,
Yeah.
and it's also like it's actually not. It's just like discrete.
But
Subtract one rolling.
that's what I
harm
mean.
move.
Are you subtracting 3 or 4 now?
Yeah.
I don't think you can ever subtract 4. It's like one of those things where it's like 3 is the max.
I don't. I feel like that's a
it
thing. I feel like
is-
that's a thing that just playing a lot of PBTA games has made us believe, but I'm not sure.
But
if it's in
maybe
the book
not,
anywhere.
yeah.
There's no reason why you can't subtract like 8 from a roll. Like why not?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the clothing I wear does not conflict with the dermal plating under my skin.
Okay.
Yeah. So she just like still gets shot. It just, she doesn't notice as much.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing is that she doesn't
It's the pain
want
that matters.
she doesn't
Well,
want
I
the
guess just-
feelings that come after. Like,
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
People-
narratively it makes sense. Mechanically, it means that you'll never get a 10 on the harm move.
Yeah.
that works.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's good, but also it's less interesting, right?
That's not true, Adam. She could take 5 harm in one go.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
don't
so.
feel like doing that ever
Yeah.
since.
If you get hit with a grenade in the face.
That's true. That's true. Because I forget you add the amount of harm and then you subtract. Yeah. Okay. So that does. So basically, what it does is it just nullifies anything that's it reduces it to 0 anything that's 2 harm. Okay. Yeah. I forgot because you roll and add the harm you took.
And the harm in
that's
this
the-
game is like a high, you know?
You can get real messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kathy
Yeah.
just wants it to be like a movie where you get shot and you keep going because
Basically,
it didn't actually
it's
hurt
small.
you that bad.
You functionally have you nullify small arms fire. Hold out pistols, revolvers, semi-autos. Those all get reduced to nothing. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that makes way more sense now. I just have to hit you with a rocket launcher and you'll be fine.
Please don't.
And the thing is, Adam, it doesn't stop her from taking harm, right? It's not armor.
That's true. Yeah, it just means it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't affect you the same way. Cool. That makes sense. A skyscraper falls on you. Cool. Okay.
I can make that happen.
Yeah, a brand new helicopter lands on you.
I was gonna say, do we get some narrative about that helicopter?
Yeah.
I would
have to
love
get
some
it
like.
during the legwork phase.
Oh, okay, you have to get it during the legwork phase.
And then there will be some narrative about the helicopter. So I definitely want to get a helicopter, Adam. This is my main life goal at this time. So what QQ does between missions is go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Because like all I want to do in this game is describe QQ's fashion
Okay,
all the time.
do it.
And so yeah, she's like out in the like weird snowy like street market, in her like big puffy but like very short jacket, and like I don't know, she wears weird clothes because she's so cybered up that she doesn't feel the cold in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she's got like some bubble tea, and she's like slurping it and like checking out, like rifling through racks of clothing and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just like there's like a little shopping montage.
Little shopping montage.
Mhm.
Side note, I think that the idea of like Flamingo and QQ side by side in like the cold is a really funny like juxtaposition, because QQ is like the one who destroys things with like the flick of their wrist and is wearing all this like very impractical, so to speak, like winter gear, and then Flamingo's got this like heavy like great coat, basically.
Yeah.
One of the sleeves tied off and like a scarf around her face and like a hat on, like
You look much more badass, or like your fashion is trying to make you look badass, whereas QQ looks badass by wearing like cutesy fashion.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I had a mental image of like the two of them in the cold being a funny picture. I don't know.
I like it. Also, yeah, when I go shopping, I make Flamingo buy me things. Boss, doesn't this look cute?
Of course it does. Yeah, I'll just add that to the tab of things you're not getting paid for this month.
Yep, that makes sense. So is your shopping for the helicopter much the same?
No, the shopping for the helicopter is going to work differently.
It's in the legwork. It's in the legwork phase. I think I sort of already did stuff with Cathode. That was kind of the important thing for me. I wanted to give her a pep talk, so it kind of worked out.
And then I fix your drones.
Yeah. So is our friend Neat doing anything in between missions? Playing the new Zelda.
Yeah, I don't know really. I'd never sort of bothered to give him much of a personality because of how focused this is on doing missions. So
Could always just like get into the VR and play video games. Like that seems like Neat would just
yeah,
totally
probably just plays
reasonable.
video games.
Yeah. Watches anime, plays video games,
Is he
enjoys.
lives anime. in
Enjoys-
VR.
Your esports athlete.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As he climbed the ladders of some like far-flung future MOBA.
Yeah, like VR shooting things, like
I like how
Gungrave
your
Online or whatever it is.
your activities when you're not on the mission are pretending you're on missions.
Yeah, pretty much.
League
That
of
makes sense.
League of super awesome anime legends.
I really hope that
Yeah.
in the cyberpunk future that companies are not still making licensed property MOBAs out of everything. I hope
Yeah.
we
Yeah, me
move
too.
beyond that.
Beyond
No,
MOBAs.
still doing it.
There's some
StarCraft 12, yeah.
Someday there will be a video game like a MOBA or whatever, but instead of popular IP characters, it'll be like famous YouTubers, and I will step off a balcony when that happens. That's
Yeah.
it.
You'll also step off the balcony and into the game.
No, that'll be the end of culture. That'll be it. I'll be done.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna use PewDiePie's ult.
Right. I don't know. I don't want to live in that world.
Bro fist from space.
So, so yeah, you figure need is pretty much just like waiting between missions, practicing for missions.
Yeah. Between these two missions specifically, he's like, yeah, it's probably time that during the next mission I need like some upgrades for my capabilities, because just having a pistol, so he's doing some pre legwork, perusing, because I'm gonna buy a bunch of stuff.
Q has been giving Neat shit about how he only has like a pistol for a while now. Just like, really, you're gonna back me up with that thing? Come on, baby. And I like, I was like massive. I'm like covered in guns. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, how are we gonna do missions? You only have a pistol. This is ridiculous. So yeah, PG has been riding your ass about that for a while.
Yeah. Oh, also, I've got cred to spend. I'm gonna get some stuff too,
Okay, what are you buying?
hopefully.
Or I guess
Well,
that's
I don't
not
know
a
if I
thing.
have to.
Yeah.
I guess I have to hit the street to do it.
Yes.
We have to
that's right.
legwork it.
It's part of legwork. Yeah. You can go shopping as long as it's not a mechanical object, which I guess is the same, except if you get a move, but that can happen kind of anytime, right? Because
Yep.
your move for you, Catho, like your cyber, when you buy that move, you don't have to.
It specifically says you let me grab
Yeah,
it.
let's walk through.
It specifically says, because it's an advance, but it's you are an expert in cybernetics and biomodification. You may begin with one extra piece of cyberware. Because I took it as an advance and not a beginning move, I
Right.
just get one, I guess. Describe how you implanted this in yourself, but you need not describe how you paid for it. I went to Doctor Guy.
Mhm.
Because I don't think that, like, I mean, I guess you could say you implanted
No, I mean the
dermaplaning in
rules
yourself,
specifically
but,
say that you
like,
did.
But I don't think that that's something you could do by yourself.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think that you could actually like open yourself up and put dermal plating in
Well,
by
you
yourself.
got drones and stuff, so you could program
Here,
them.
Here, let me keep you awake while you surgery yourself.
I mean,
Whack.
I think there's lots of ways you could do that, right?
I
You could
don't
just
think that
anesthetize-
cathode
Yes,
could do that.
That's fair. But now you're an expert. You're an expert on cybernetics. You could totally.
I
do it.
am.
By
Yes.
definition of the rules, you can do it now. It would just be
Well,
the cat that
but-
would choose not to.
I chose not to.
Yeah, totally. I just want to make it clear, like narratively, the move isn't just you get another piece of cyberware.
It's I'm also an expert.
It's that other thing about
I do the training montage with learning cybernetics, and now I know them.
So 8 years later and 2 medical degrees, the next mission starts.
No, it was very much like hackers. I just like went into the matrix.
She just
And
works out a
program
lot and then
myself.
knows how to fix cyberware, okay? She's just like bench pressing cyber arm and then is good at
I
it.
just went to this really weird teen hangout bar, and there were roller skaters everywhere, and now I know how to fix cyberware.
Perfect. Good.
What?
I don't know how that's possible, but you did it. Congratulations. Cool.
Doesn't make any
Alright.
sense. It's fine.
Does anybody else have any pre-mission stuff that they needed to do, or
I believe I am
expository
clear.
information they would like to?
Let's
present?
get up in this legwork phase, Adam.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let
You
me,
seriously want to give him legwork so you can buy a helicopter, don't you? That's where you're at. That's where you're at.
This mission's gonna be like, it happens underwater. You can't use a helicopter there. And I'll just be like, "Grr!"
It's actually in an anti-helicopter zone. It's not that helicopters are illegal; they just don't exist here.
It is not. Yeah.
As soon as you
Any
fly your
helico-
helicopter in, just it vanishes.
It's-
These guys they all have anti-helicopter guns. Weird. Okay. So, I think let me understand, Flamingo. How is it that you? Because it's your job to find jobs for the group. How do you do that? What is that?
I imagine
What does that look
we
like?
have some sort of like illegal job posting board almost.
Like
like-
Craigslist, but for violent criminals.
basically,
So
yeah.
Craigslist, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
The darknet equivalent of Craigslist.
Yeah, that's sort of what I imagine, like Flamingo would pick something out of the list of things that look the most suitable, and then set up like a meeting, or she'd get contacted by someone, which is basically what has happened the past way. But she makes it known that like she has the hookup to a group, basically, as well. So like our past successes advertised as such.
So how does this work? Do you is it a like message board situation where you say, I have a team, we are good at these things, like you post your CV, or is it the other way around where you like jobs are auctioned off where someone's like,
I think it's the auctioning. It's like the government weapons contract forum, but like for cyberpunk,
and we're often the
teams
lowest
of-
bidder. Is what I'm understanding here.
exactly. Yeah.
right, okay. So you and so you have a matrix site for handling this.
That's sort of my thought. Yeah.
So do you have someone that like does this for you? Because you're not you don't have to be a decker to be able to do, or a whatever hacker to be able to do these kinds of things. But
Sure. In fact, I could know someone.
yeah, I mean you don't have to.
And make up this person who may be useful later. At
Yeah.
some.
Sure.
Let's randomly generate them with some
Yeah, let's do it.
knowledge.
Okay, so tell me, do you want to use your contact, like generating a contact thing, or do you want to use your move that you roll?
I'm gonna use the move.
Okay.
Because the move has the potential to either make our lives really difficult or
Right, and this you don't need to rely on this being a safe bet. This can just
yeah,
be something-
exactly.
Okay.
Like, it's
So you have somebody who does this is like your designer or whatever, the guy that does the work for you. You provide the content, but
Yeah,
this
exactly.
person
they man the keyboard, so to
Yes.
speak, for this particular section.
all right, well let's figure out who this,
So
this
let me
keyboard cowboy
roll
of yours
let me
is.
roll some style. Boom, 7.
All right, so you've never met them before. They're an unknown quantity. They've done work for you, but like
I
you've
think
never
maybe what
interacted
that means
directly.
is like I think what that means is that we've never met, like we've never existed in the same physical space. You know what I mean? Like I know them as like an avatar or something from like their online persona, but like for their safety and ours, we maintain a distance.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've probably never even met them in sort of real time in the Matrix because
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if they're any kind of hacker at all, you're probably way too low res for them.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Like, I can't stand talking to somebody who's not, jacked in. Okay, cool. So what? I mean, you can tell me some more about this person. What kind of person are they? Do you imagine like what kind of person would Flamingo associate with? Are we talking
I sort
about
of
like
I sort of imagine them as being like terse and professional. You
yeah,
know,
so
like,
not like a shit
one of
hot
those-
console
one
cowboy.
of those kind of people who is like the absolute opposite of QQ, like the kind of person who would wear a business suit every day. Like from what I can infer from the emails I get, so to speak. Or messages or what have you. But because I've never met them, it's hard to say.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay. So I think that this person, I guess then they would have their avatar would likely be, or their online persona would likely be something, I mean, fairly similar. What do you think? Like, do they carry that kind of professionalism into the Matrix, or are they the opposite where they're just like way
flaming.
more over the top.
Yeah, like
online.
crazy over the top. I think it probably relates fairly simply. Like I imagine this as being kind of like a Mr. Smith type person, you know, in terms of like how they would present themselves. But also I'm giving you the license if you wish to expand upon them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll figure out who they are, you know, in the background. I'm just trying to get an idea of what you're imagining. So this is a person that, yeah, works as your go-between on the Matrix, keeps you from being found out, right? Like helps you.
Yeah,
protect
like
your...
keeps me indirectly related, you know, like you can't track back whatever job we're doing to Flamingo necessarily, or whatever thing we've agreed to Flamingo. You can track it back as far as whoever this guy is. And even with that, he's probably like well more secure than I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think. Yeah, I mean it's tough to come up with like a character that you don't really like know.
That you
or
don't
interact
really
with.
know. Yeah.
I think maybe you don't even know what their like alias is necessarily. You just have like
I just have contact information.
contact, yeah, like a serial number or something.
Yeah.
So we'll leave, and especially because you got the 7 and 9, we'll leave this person an unknown quantity. We don't know who they are or who they work for.
Their name is unknown quantity.
Yeah, totally. Hacker who contracts for Flamingo. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, you're comfortable with this arrangement, obviously, because you've done this before, right? You've dealt with people who are it's a purely business basis.
Yeah,
You
like
wouldn't hang
as
out.
long as the business is going well, then there's no reason to sort of make any problem with this person. And the last, you know, few jobs probably before the ones we got directly narratively, were all based through this person, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, and this person probably does this for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I mean, this
That's
is
their
like
business.
they're like an agent, you know, like
Yeah, there's essentially like a flag on a digital Dropbox somewhere where you say like looking for job, and then upload whatever information. They disperse that information and then give you some options. You pick from them. They're a consultant in the process.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Sure. So I think that's probably where you get this. That's where you get this job from. There's a one of the many kind of filaments that you have out there in the matrix. You get a bite. You get a tug on it, and your friend puts you in touch with someone who has a job for you. Now you don't talk on the matrix. And they give you a location. They say, you know, this is the place they're going to meet you, and yeah, and I think that's how it goes. You can make the decision whether you wanna go or not when these things happen. But I think usually, I don't know. You tell me, how much information are you usually given by these things? Because I'm trying to understand the economy and like what's normal, and I want to turn that over to you as the fixer to do. So.
I sort of imagine it as being fairly nondescript in terms of like the actual information that you receive. Like there's an address and like some basic information maybe that would be shared with the go-between, but it's one of those things where it's like we're discussing criminal things in a society where everything is recorded in like a very, you know, traceable way and findable way. You don't want to like, unless you're talking face to face, you probably don't want to talk about like distinctly criminal things, you know. So it's probably just like to set up a meeting for the actual information that we receive, but we know it's for a job because that's how we get these.
Yeah.
Or at least in my mind. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say on it. Feel free. Like I'm just spitballing.
Yeah, I think
it's certainly fun.
Yeah, so I think that you get the address, are given a time, and basically it's like if you want to get paid, if you want a job, go here. They've picked you from the list of potential people. So go here and have a word, and then you get charged obviously just for the fee. It doesn't matter whether you take the job or not. And so you have this opportunity. So you have an address.
Bank balance like deplete. Okay, cool, paid up. Like go and deal with this.
Yeah, I don't imagine even when Flamingo is like poor, even when you're low cred, it's not like you just don't have money. It's just
I imagine
you're floating.
Yeah, I imagine she floats a fair amount of like credit almost.
Yeah, yeah. You probably don't have almost any liquid capital, but you have a lot of kind of juggling. Like, look, I put some money into this thing. It's gonna pay off, but not until this other thing is done. And like, I don't have a lot of cash on hand right now, but like, there's a bunch of stuff tied up in other things.
Definitely,
Yeah.
she's one of those people who's like always investing in things.
Oh, did you do your move for the?
No,
in-between jobs?
I do need to hustle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See what my jobs are looking like.
Let's have you do that.
So this is the hustle. And let me roll my edge.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Do the hustle.
Yeah, 8.
So that looks like an 8. An 8 is one of the jobs is a disaster, and you profit from the rest. So I have 3 jobs. One is protection, one is debt collection, and one is meetings, like brokering meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna say that the drones are not ready.
Okay.
And so
I can still be working on them.
my squad.
I mean, they got really fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like many of them are in pieces. You have to source new parts.
So my squad of drones is probably not present. The other 2 go fine. So the disaster for protection is that like they don't have your back. Like they're not around. They can't help you. And it's a whole move, so it makes sense.
Do you want to have me customize your drones in any way? Because that is a thing.
I feel like you would.
Do.
I feel like you would do it no matter what. So you can detail how you do that when I get them back. Because I would love to see like Kathy fiddling with things, and then me getting to respond to that will be fun.
You're gonna have to tell me what your drones are like right now, because
So I get a cred and I get a gear towards this next mission from
Okay.
that hustle.
Yeah, and I think we see all of this. I mean, as you're in your, I mean, describe your like workstation for me, Flamingo.
Like Flamingo's place.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily your place, but like your little like the middle of your spider web, right? When you're doing it, when you're
I
working
imagine
the biz. What does it
I
look
imagine
like?
she works out of like the same kind of bar, or maybe even the same bar that we saw in the first episode, like the heavily like sort of AR'd, sort of low quality like bar space that you like have to go outside to get to. It's like not super upscale, and she like rents out a back room in one of these places.
Okay.
And would be there for like a day coordinating all the stuff that's going on. And all her people know where to find her, So it would be sort of like people coming in and out talking to her about like, okay, we got to do this, we got to go there, sort of thing. She has these 2 little groups of other runners, basically, like other I don't know what you call them. Like it's almost like another little group that's not as good as ours at doing the stuff that we do,
Or certainly not as in the spotlight. They might have their
Exact-
own.
yeah.
They have their own shit going on.
Yeah, they got their own shit. Like
I'm pretty
like,
sure they don't get your arms torn off. So
well, exactly, right? Like there's a couple
They're
of
in the low risk, low reward.
there's a couple of beefy looking guys who go and collect debt for whoever needs it owed, like, oh, this guy hasn't paid up on his bill, we're gonna repo his VR cybernetic implant from his face.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff probably happens. And then there's another group that are basically like middlemen themselves that make that like facilitate deals between other groups. It's like this inception of like, I know a person who knows a person who can help you know another person sort of thing going on. And it's like, oh, you need 15 machine guns. I know a guy who's selling 15 machine guns. Like, let me introduce you. Gangster guy, this is salesman guy. now you're friends, sort of stuff that they do. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay. So you get this job, or this potential for a job, and what do you I guess what do you do? Who do you call first?
I call QQ first, and make sure that they are up on the idea that we have a job. You know.
Well, yeah, I imagine QQ is like outside the door of this little office that you rent and receive people, and I'm just like, whoa, no, you can't come in.
Yeah.
You fucking walk away. Get out of here. Like you come in. Like I'm the secretary. Basically.
Yeah. So it would even be like I just open the door and come out and be like, we've got a thing tomorrow at whenever time, at whatever place.
Yeah. Okay, boss.
Cool. And then as long as that sort of goes, like, all right, we're gonna do that, I contact the rest of the group in like a group message, basically. Then this would just be like a text message, basically.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it being sort of voice related. Just pop open my AR and send out a message that's like, this place, this time, we have a meeting. Be there if you want. I'll fill you in on the details once I've been there, done it.
I just like snap you back a picture of like your drones like in pieces, like all over the floor of my Faraday cage, and I'm just like busy.
Oh, good is the response. Fantastic.
So I'm not gonna be at the meeting. Is what I'm
Not gonna be at the meeting. All right.
Yep, you get the map back, and like the place that you've like just said by text, and there's a little graphic, and it like lays the map out, and then like a kunai like flies in, like smacks into the building, and then it like has a little bit trailing off the end. It's an explosive tag, and it explodes. It says, "I'll be there," or whatever.
Nice.
Man, I want to get text messages from Neat. It sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
I love the idea of like Kathy and Neat have like these graphics and pictures and stuff, and Flamingo just sends like basic text messages with no emojis.
Yeah, QQ does the same
Yep.
because we're both stuck in that like militaristic mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the idea of that being the way that Neat messages everyone all the time, no matter what it's about. Like, Neat, what do you want to have for dinner tonight? And he just like, you get this like unfurling ninja scroll that like burns up into a phoenix and flies away, and it leaves letters in Japanese that translate themselves into macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like
So good.
music and everything, right?
I want 3D overwrought Tenchu stealth text messages.
Yes. I love it.
Cool. So you're gonna go. I guess, Kathy, you're hanging back in your shop while the
yes,
while the
yes,
others
I
are
am.
in the meeting.
While the
I
meeting
am
goes
very
down.
okay with still not being in the thick of things. Yes.
All right. So the place of the meeting is actually in a there would be some civil like the megaplex municipal department would have like a euphemistic name for this kind of neighborhood. It's a slum. We would call it a slum where poor people live, but they would call it something else, like a greater development district, or like a rank 4 development district or something. It's in one of the bad parts of town, and it's a Hasty Mart. So a Hasty Mart is this company. It's a sub company of some much larger food conglomerate, but it's essentially as we see it. So you pull up outside, and there are a bunch of sort of tenement buildings. This is an area that is partway through construction, and then abandoned. So like some charitable politician type, someone running for municipal council, poured a bunch of money into this and then lost the election and was like, fuck it, I'm gonna move to a different town and try somewhere else. So there's this half constructed kind of neighborhood block of cheap housing, and as such, since it's been abandoned, it's occupied by people who have either no means or no access to other housing. So we see a lot of like repurposed corrugated steel paneling that's been riveted over to create little interior cubicles inside what was going to be like a several story mall and then a bunch of apartment buildings. So this whole block is just full of these kind of abandoned things. But Hasty Mart, they have essentially they'll roll them in on trucks. They're like a kiosk small building-sized kiosk, and they just jam them into the local power grid. They plug the store in, store turns on, and that's it. There's no one works there. They are on the inside, like walking into a bunch of freezers, but it's not cold. They're just like plexiglass paneling, bulletproof plexiglass paneling over prepackaged, non-perishable, delicious food objects. So they're just behind these walls. So you walk in and it's just like, yeah, like shelves of locked down, like heavily secured like food objects in these shelves and stuff. They also run a 3D printing service, so you can bring your plans there and you put them into one of the Hasty Mart official 3D printing devices, and it'll print off whatever like cheap thing that you want. So the center of the store is a little 3D printer, and I think that the Hasty Mart like mascot is like a dwarf, like a little dwarf guy with a little pointy hat and a big bushy beard, and he has a wrench and a hammer, and he's there's this big kind of like the kind of statuary you would see on like a burger joint or a donut place in Middle America in centuries past. Big fiberglass statues, big cheerful red cheeks. He kind of looks like Santa Claus. There's this statue of him, and he's covered in spray paint, so you can barely see any of the original paint. And then he's standing on top of this central kind of pillar that can be used to 3D print clothes or candy is another thing you can 3D print. Basically anything that can be made quickly by extruding it from something else.
Yeah, and totally there are ones in the lower income areas that have been taken over by gangs, and they've overridden like the safety precautions, and they use them to like 3D print guns and stuff.
Guns and drugs. Yeah. Hasty Marts get perfect. So Hasty Mart basically has 2 levels of security. It has spray everything down with tear gas. So if people are causing problem in a Hasty Mart, every surface is electrified. So you'll get a little zap if you're trying to like pry open one of the delicious food product cases. You get a little zap, and then they'll just fill the thing with tear gas. They'd be like, in 30 seconds, it's being purified or whatever, and they'll just, or occasionally, and this is apocryphal because most people are like, I know a guy who knows a guy who saw this happen. They just self-destruct. They just blow up. So it's like, if the tear gas doesn't work and it looks like someone is trying to get into the stuff, sometimes they just explode.
But my uncle knows a guy who was about to enter one of those buildings and it blew up.
Yeah,
I love the idea that this notion of them exploding, like it has happened a few times, but it wasn't a deliberate thing to like kill people tampering with it. It was just like there's a flaw, like they should have done a recall, but some of the units are defective and can't explode.
Yeah, and I don't want to give the impression that the Hasty Mart is a downscale business, because there are Hasty Marts everywhere, and they don't rebrand for like upscale operations. They're just nicer. So like a Hasty Mart in a nice neighborhood in a suburban enclave would be 10 times bigger, more like a mini mall. It would have employees, but not employees that do anything. They would just have like attractive people in Hasty Mart uniforms walking around asking questions. They might have security guards.
And they carry nicer products too.
Yeah,
right?
and their stuff is all more upscale, but it's the same branding across the board. It's the big blue bubble letter Hasty Mart. Like no matter where you are, there's a Hasty Mart. I think that's probably like one of their many slogans. They're actually really proud of having airdropped Hasty Marts into war zones, for the convenience of soldiers on both sides. And this particular Hasty Mart has been, thoroughly graffitoed. So the outside, you can see the AR is still, shining through, but all the physical spaces have been spray painted over. The H in the Hasty Mart says it's been repurposed into an N, so it says Nasty Mart. Hasty is spelled with 2 E's because it's cuter and it played better in audiences, globally. And this is the place. This is the address. The neighborhood is bad. We see a lot of like undernourished folks, kind of standing around to get into this Hasty Mart to pay for food with the credits that they've scavenged. They're all like massively vitamin deficient because they get a lot of sugar and corn starch, but very little else. And there are obvious signs both in AR and in real space of like gang activity in this neighborhood. Tags tags that say like who this particular block belongs to. And I think that maybe as you approach, you know, like a tout from like a nearby alley is calling out, offering out like various illegal stims and what have you. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty bad place. Where, I mean, depending on your opinion of these things, but who's the last person to show up of the three of you?
I mean, me and QQ are gonna be together, so
Yeah.
I imagine probably me.
Like you show up on your bike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm always already there.
Okay,
I'm
you're
always
already
the first
there,
one at the
so,
meetings.
So
and
like
just-
me and QQ arrive together later. than
Yeah.
you? Yeah. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
Can ride on my bike if you want, QQ. I'm just saying.
Riding with QQ is
It's dangerous.
she weighs down the back quite a bit. It's like very.
Well, what I do is I just have you drive, and I
Oh,
just,
okay, yeah.
I just ride.
Yeah, I'm a no shit driver.
It's really hard to drive a motorcycle with one arm. It's
yeah, I'll
like,
totally drive you.
yeah.
Okay.
and, I'm not
QQ
even
likes the
thought about
idea
that.
of the boss clinging to her at high school. QQ's into this.
Just one arm wrapped around her, like, you better not fucking.
Cool. Okay. So I think maybe that's the scene we'll go to break on. Before you go in and get your mission, we have the kind of light blue glow of the AR display of Hasty Mart. We need a name for like the Hasty Mart gnome, the little like builder gnome. We'll figure it out later, but that's a thing. I gotta make a note that we gotta figure out. And so we see the glow of the AR and the sliding doors of the Hasty Mart open as you approach to head inside. And let's grab a quick break here, and we'll come back and we'll get a job when we return. Stick around. We will be right back.